The black man, the building block of America, whether we want to admit it or not. The ever-growing and ever-revolutionizing view of the black man in America is one of the most complicated things the American media has to offer. Starting with the obvious point of slavery and the enslavement of African Americans in the early 1600s, the black man was always viewed as a servant or as lesser than his white counterparts. Always viewed as someone who serves no purpose to this world except fieldwork and housework, if lucky, the black men were treated the worst when it came to the news media of the time. The flyers put up in search for escaped black men, as well as black slaves in general, would be described in negative ways, such as having bad teeth, sore eyes, or just being overall ugly. This extended into the Jim Crow era of America, where although slavery was illegal, there were laws put in place to lessen and weaken the black community. The Jim Crow era included things such as colored-only restaurants and schools, and even laundromats. Now, in a time where even white women didn't have rights, the black man was the overall target and victim of these laws. With Jim Crow in place, it was very hard to have anything for the black community, let alone the black man. Black men and their upcoming businesses were burned to the ground, and black men were hanged for trying to be more intelligent or more involved in the community. This was most evident in the newspapers, where they depicted pictures of black men being beaten for trying to vote, or memos saying that they would not accept any black man to vote at all. The news media played a huge part in scaring away black men from voting and put a target on the back of any black man that tried to vote. These laws and practices were carried over into the civil rights movement. Although nowadays Martin Luther King Jr. is viewed as a hero, an old survey done during his time revealed that MLK was actually the most hated man in America at the time, according to the news media. The media often called him a Negro hopeful, or tried their hardest to link him to any American fear, such as communism or violence in general. The entire movement, mostly done by black men, was viewed as dangerous to America or un-American at its core. The news media, when covering the movement, would often refer to the marchers as just Negroes or say that they are complaining again about something or trying to dismiss their motives for marching. The sight of hundreds of black men marching through mostly white towns and counties was seen as a threat, and in fact martial law was enforced and the crowds were hit with tear gas and attacked by dogs and even sprayed with fire hoses. The main victim of all these attacks were obviously the marchers, who were mostly black men. But whose fault was it in the media? Black men. The men who were involved in these marches were at most times arrested, but many media outlets called these men terrorists or a threat to society or other degrading and problematic things. The way black men are shown in the news media is now very much still the same. Many if not all times a black man is involved in anything, whether it be a community or a crime, he is always a former this or an ex that, never just a man. This is evident even when black men are involved in something good, like volunteering or risking their lives for someone else. The first thing to be said is former felon or African American male or something else. The media loves to hold on to the mistakes of any black man, some mistakes that are caused by a faulty system in place, but that's a different conversation in video. Black men can never escape the mistakes of their past and will always be brought up, no matter how heroic or groundbreaking their feat is.
Meantime, a former gang member who turned his life around and ended up with a degree from Harvard, of all places, is now inspiring students.
This can also be said when a crime is committed against the black man. The man is normally shown with a mug shot probably from years ago, and we are first told that the black man or former felon has been killed. Whereas when a white person is killed, we get to see the family Christmas card, including the dog, and maybe a high school graduation photo. This is also evident in how news outlets love to call aspiring young black men exactly that. Rarely ever by their name, but by an age followed by African American male. The black man cannot be recognized by his name, but rather by his color and whatever the achievement is.
Gathered at the table of brotherhood, I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children